Hi everyone, welcome back to another cozy weekend crochet vlog. Today I'll be working on a pattern test and it is by Therapy on My Hook. It's a low-sew dragon. It'll be really fun. So before I dive into that pattern test, I did want to address a couple things that I've been seeing in the crochet community when it comes to patterns. I've seen a lot of accusations of pattern stealing or of people just saying that patterns look too similar. I just want to keep in mind that there are only so many ways you can make certain shapes and animals within crochet. I'm definitely not condoning copying any patterns, but I want to keep in mind that just because something's a similar concept or a similar idea doesn't mean it's executed in the same way. So don't go and do a witch hunt after someone about a pattern looking similar to someone else's without collecting all of the facts first. Also, let the designers deal with it themselves. If they feel bothered by it, then they should go and contact the other designer themselves and work out a mutual understanding. We don't need outsiders coming in and starting any unnecessary drama because it just makes the community very toxic and it's not fun to be around. Also, I know pattern writing can be very difficult at times and frustrating. For example, when I was working on my fox pattern, I wanted to give up so many times because I could not figure out the head to save my life. I think I went through 5 or 6 different versions of the head. I wasted so much yarn, so many eyes, and I just got so frustrated. I did finally end up figuring it out at the end, but I did have to go through that process. And I want everyone to remember that that process is just what it is to be a pattern designer. And if you can't figure something out, don't just take something from someone else's pattern. I recently dealt with someone, I'm not going to name names because it's not that important, but someone who literally took a copy and paste of one of my wing patterns from one of my dragons and use it as their own on their pattern. It was literally word for word exactly how it was for my pattern. And I did approach this designer and we did talk it through. I wasn't like upset, I wasn't mad, but I just wanted to let her know that that's not considered okay in the crochet community. I understand that things can be very difficult and very hard to figure out, but that's part of the fun of pattern designing, is trying to figure out the certain shapes and getting things to how exactly you want them, you know? So just remember to be kind and don't jump to conclusions, especially if you know some of these designers. They have a good heart. They don't mean to be doing some of these things that they're doing. And there's room for all of us in this crochet community. So don't attack others, and let's just be kind. Let's keep this a nice, positive, cozy space, because that's what I love about this community, is that there are so many uplifting and beautiful souls in the community that mean the world to me. I've met some of my best friends from this crochet community. So just please be kind. All right, enough of that. Let's actually get into the fun crochet. So as a reminder, I'm going to be working on this lovely low-sew dragon pattern test for Therapy on My Hook. And I decided that I'm gonna switch it up, and I'm gonna use Premier Basics chenille brights. It's very similar to Brene blanket yarn in the sense of it how do I say it? The weight and the feel of it is very similar to another type of blanket yarn. I usually use a 6mm hook with this, so I'm thinking, I know she has some other mods so it comes with a couple mods of like fruits, but I think I'm going to do a pink dragon with gold accents, because I don't know why I just love these colors together, so I'm going to do that. This is the, it's called Blush. So it's Premier Basics, color is Blush, and then this one, Premier Basics, color is Mustard. So if you want to make something similar, that's what I'm using. And of course, wouldn't be complete without my furls hook. Like I said before, I use a 6mm hook. This is their bronze polished streamlined metal hook, and if you've seen my other recent video, I'm obsessed with these hooks. Yeah, okay, so we have that. I don't know if I'll be doing special eyes. I haven't quite figured out if I have small enough eyes or if I have colors that will work. So we'll figure that out together when we get to it. But first, actually, oh my gosh, I don't know how I forgot this. I wanted to show a couple things that I recently made. So yesterday I went to see the How to Train Your Dragon movie. And I came home and immediately made a little Toothless, and I love it so much. I couldn't come home and not make a Toothless, if you know what I mean. So this is my Dusk, the baby Fury pattern, or mini Fury, I don't know sure one, but it's called Dusk. And I did mod it a little bit, and I added the little middle horns, I guess. So what I did was I slip stitched about 2 rounds above the eyes, and did like a slip stitch, chain 1, or chain 2, slip stitch in the second chain from hook, and then slip stitch on back into the head, and did the same thing again to get to like the middle. I really love how he turned out. He's very cute. So that was yesterday. I made that. And then earlier this week, I did a pattern test for Crochet, dot crochet. She calls them mini croc, I think that's how you say it. So she comes with these, with the pattern, there's these eggs that you can make. There's 3 types of eggs, and they kind of they go like this, and your little croc can fit in there. I probably didn't make my egg big enough, but still, he fits in there. It's really, really cute. They're very fast to make. I made both of these in probably an hour and a half or 2 hours, less than that. They're really, really quick. The egg did take a little bit longer, but don't let that discourage you, because it's really cool to have them kind of go together. So that pattern's out now, so I'll link it below in the description, so make sure to go and buy it. I also pattern tested for Sweet Brie Creations over on Instagram. She had a pattern test for her potato house pets, and so I decided to make each of my own little pets. So this is Princess Fiona. I wish she was over here so I could show you what she looks like. And then this is Avery. He was in one of my other videos, so you know he's a brown tabby. I didn't really get the color right for him, but I didn't really have the right colors to match his coloring, so I decided just to do a generic brown tabby. But I think he's so cute, and these eyes are from Britt, Nerdy Girl Crochets, and then I think these eyes are from WildK_crochet on Instagram. I'll link them both below. They make the best eyes. And then I also made my dog Harley. Yeah, I think she's so cute. These eyes I painted myself. I had them in my stock from a while back, but she has brown eyes, and so I decided to make these. They're kind of reddish, but they worked for this. So yeah, these are so cute. They did not take long to make at all. It's low sew. I would say the dog was completely no sew, and then the cats, you just had to sew on the ears. So it was super quick, and they have little tails. So make sure to get that pattern. It's out now. I'll also link that down in the description. It's by Sweet Brie Creations. All right, so now since I've showed you everything that I was recently working on, now we can get into the pattern test. So it looks like first we make the legs. So go ahead and do that. So like the previous video, I'll probably speed through some of these and then kind of talk through it as I go. So have any of y'all out there have seen the new How to Train Your Dragon? Like I said earlier, I just went yesterday and I cried. I thought it was so well done. The acting was beautiful. Everyone was so good. The props, even the CGI dragons, some CGI is just kind of like, well, and it just looks so fake. I mean, obviously I know dragons aren't real, so they had to do CGI, but I just thought they looked really cool, and I thought Toothless was absolutely adorable. Yeah, I don't know. I thought they did a really, really, really good job. I think they are going to do the other movies, but I really do hope they do, because I just thought it was so well done, and I think they deserve all the success that they're getting, DreamWorks and the whole crew that did that movie. I absolutely loved it. It was worth every penny seeing, because I know going to the movie theaters is kind of expensive, but I definitely enjoyed it. I went to Alamo Drafthouse. I don't know if y'all have, I think that's mainly an Austin thing, but Alamo Drafthouse, they have this very strict no talking rule. And I really appreciate that, because I hate going to the movies and people are talking or texting the whole time, and they will basically kick people out if they're talking or texting. And I just appreciate that, because if I'm even paying, how much is it, like $15 a ticket to go see a movie, I want to be able to enjoy the movie. So yeah, I can't wait for the other movies. And again, like I said before, I really hope that I can make it out to Universal Studio Parks in Orlando, hopefully next year. We're saving up. We just bought a new couch, which was, you know, a couple $1,000s. So yeah, we're saving back up to hopefully get to go on vacation next year and go to the Isles of Berk. And then my husband really wants to see the Mario Land, and I wouldn't mind seeing Mario Land as well. So it'd be kind of fun to do all of that. Yeah. All right, Kindle needs to stop talking and worry about the pattern. Okay, we have the meow. We have the 4 little legs. So these, I guess, will be crocheted in. I believe so, because it's low sew. So I'll put these aside for now. And it looks like we do the wings next. So a little fun fact, or at least the way that I do it, when I'm usually on like the 3rd round, or when I'm doing the 3rd round, I like to crochet over the starting tail just so it's secured, and then also I don't have to then weave it in. I'm also just a maniac and want to make sure everything's really held together. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm kind of crocheting over it like so. Yeah, just a little tidbit from me to you. And then for color changes, I know everyone likes to do color changing a little differently. I like to do it in the last stitch of the round. So I have my 2 loops on the hook. So I already inserted in and pulled the loop over for the single crochet. And then to finish the single crochet, I tack on my new color, and then I pull through. And then I usually then will tie the 2 colors together just so they stay secure. I don't know if that's needed or not, but that's how I do it. If you do it differently, I'd love to hear how you do it. I'm always interested to hear what different ways people do things, so let me know. So it looks like she wants to you to add the little embroider part, so that's what I'm doing right now. I didn't do a very good job. Maybe I just am not good at the embroidery, which, yeah, that works, right? Let's do it on this one too. Okay, I think that one's a little bit better. So we have the wings and the legs. So now it looks like we do the head to the body. I think these will be sewn on, so we'll just put those aside. But it looks like these will be crocheted in. I know a lot of people like to, when they crochet on limbs, they usually will just hide the yarn tail inside the body when they crochet them on. I go 50-50. I will sometimes go ahead and leave them and do that, or I'll do what I'm doing today, which is I thread through a needle, and then I take it through here, and I just do a slip knot like that, so it's tight, and then I just put it through the piece and then cut it. I don't know if that's a bad way to do it or not, but that's how I like to do it, and it saves me some time later so I don't have to secure and hide the yarn tails when I'm crocheting on the limbs. If I should be worried about doing it that way, let me know in the comments. Or if you, I'd be curious to know how other people do it. This is just one of the ways I've figured out recently that I like doing. But yeah, I'm always interested in learning new techniques and new ways of doing things. So this is how I do it. I'm curious how you do it. Let me know in the comments, or if I am doing it in a very wrong way, I'm also okay with you telling me that in the comments. Just be nice. Okay, so those are all ready now. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm working on the head, and I had the little nostril, not really the nostril, but the muzzle kind of already formed. Another thing I saw on Instagram, which I didn't even realize that people did it a different way, was whenever they use a stitch marker, do you place the stitch marker in the first stitch of the round or the last stitch of the round? I do it on the first stitch of the round, so I make the first stitch and then I put the stitch marker in. But I also found out that one of my friends who I met on Instagram that crochets does it on the last stitch of the round, of the previous round. It's just a different way of doing it. My brain would not understand that if I were doing that. I don't know why, but that's, yeah, curious. Which way do you do it? Okay, so we have the little head going here, and it now says to add the eyes. So now I need to figure out what eyes to use. Let's see. These might be kind of fun. I found these 18 millimeter pink ones from Nerdy Girl Crochets, Brit. I'm wondering if the pink is gonna look good or not. Sometimes it's hard to tell. I get kind of picky. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think I like them better than probably doing just plain black eyes, but I don't have very many eyes that are this small right now, so I think we might go with them. Yeah, I think we should just go with it. So maybe make sure I put them in the right round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, about 4 stitches apart. Yeah. Ish. Like I said in my previous videos, I will second guess eye placement for way too long, and then I'll still probably end up putting them in the wrong place or not where I want them. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. I'm always, I don't know. I can't be the only one out there that is just overthinks it. I just, I don't know. All right, what do we think about that? I think that's about where they should be. See, I now I'm changing them again. I don't know. This is when I wish I had someone next to me who could just be like, yeah, that looks good. Or, ooh, girl, fix that. You know, let's see. Does that look good? That looks okay. This has to be probably the most boring part of the video, of the vlog here, trying to figure out Kindle taking a long time to figure out where the eyes, you know, like the SpongeBob.
2 hours later.
I think we're gonna do it. I think we're just gonna do it. We're just gonna do it. So since these are 18 millimeters, I usually can put them in by hand and not need the tool. So let's see if my mighty strength, or maybe not. Oh, there he goes. There's one. Okay, watch me hate the placement after they click in. Just kidding. Don't manifest that into the world. Make sure they're turned the right way. Yes, yes, yes. And yes. All right, I think that looks okay. If they don't look okay, just don't tell me in the comments. I don't want to see that. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, actually, it also says to embroider the nostrils. So I had to run downstairs to get my embroidery yarn that I like to use. So this is Lion's brand. I think it's just their cotton one. I just like how thin it is. It's really great for embroidery. It kind of looks like a pig right now, but I promise it's going to be a dragon. So I had the little ears. So I did have to adjust the ears based on my tension. So when it does say that in a pattern, it just means that like I wanted them to be, you know, the same spot on either side of the head. So she did 10 single crochets in between. I only did 8 because this one would have been too low. So basically I just did the ear a little bit earlier and then continued the round. It doesn't mess up the pattern or anything like that. It's actually quite common to need to adjust for your tension because everyone crochets a little bit differently. So when you see that in a pattern, that's just what that means. When it says to adjust for your tension, it's just having to just kind of adjust the round to make sure that your make is symmetrical in your own eyes. Or if you just like something better in a certain position, then that's fine too. I get a lot of questions from non-crocheters asking what I stuff my plushies with. And it's just Polyfill by Fairfield. It's nothing special. It's just Polyfill. It's not cotton or anything like that. It's just Polyfill. Okay, so we have his little bodies coming together. He has all of his legs in, and he still looks like a pig, but I think that's just because of the color I chose. I will stuff now, and then we'll keep going into his tail. And then it looks like then we go back and we add the details to make him look more dragon-like. But so far, this has been a pretty quick pattern. I do enjoy these smaller patterns that are a little bit quicker to make. I don't do markets, so I'm not a market prepper or anything like that, but I do like having a couple of these options on my website for people who want to buy plushies but can't quite afford any of my bigger items. And she actually has a Toothless mod for this dragon, so maybe if I finish this one quickly, we can do the Toothless one together as well. You probably noticed that I stopped using my stitch marker for the last couple of rounds, because usually as I get to the smaller rounds, I just count. Now I know that that can be quite rebellious and manic maybe, but I can realize that I could go a little quicker with that, doing that. And also when you're doing a dragon tail and it's just a straight, you're just kind of decreasing it down, then it doesn't quite matter if you're a stitch or two off in the round. I'm usually like okay at counting under 15 that I don't have to worry about that. But it's just one of those things that I do that doesn't make sense to some people, but it does make sense to me. Of course, as it gets smaller, you want to make sure you stop and stuff. Otherwise, it's going to be impossible to stuff a tail once it gets too small, if you know what I mean. I sometimes like to use my crochet hook to get it in there. And then closing up the hole with the front loops of the last round, and then you pull it closed, and then I like to do a little slip knot, slip stitch, whatever you want to call it, and then hide the yarn tail. We have the base of the dragon. That was actually pretty quick because the ears were made during the rounds, and you crocheted in the legs, and it's like a good little size with blanket yarn. It would be smaller with a chenille yarn, but yeah. Now let's add some details. Let's see what's next. Let's do the horns. So let's do the horns actually in white, and then we'll do the rest of the accents in gold. Let's see here. This is also Premier Basics. I think it's like a cream. I'm not really sure what the color is called. I don't have the paper anymore. So horns. So this is actually my first time doing it where the horns are surface crocheted on after the fact rather than like a bauble or something in the head. But I think it's kind of cute that way. Yeah. Let's do the other one now, and then we'll hide the yarn tails. All right, and there's little horns. Now he's looking definitely less like a pig and more like a dragon. So next it looks like it's the spikes. So the spikes are also surface crocheted on, which means we'll have to hide some yarn tails here in a second, but you can be a little bit more precise on where you want to put the spikes when you do it like this. So this is definitely new. I haven't done many patterns where it's like this. So we have those on. Let's hide all of these yarn tails. I guess I could have done it on the way, but I decided to go ahead and just put all the horns on there, and we'll just hide them all at the end here, which is okay. And like that, we have little horns, or sorry, not horns, spikes down the back of the dragon. Yeah, and now the tail pieces. Again, I don't have a lint brush up here. I really should just put one up here so I can lint brush before I show it off into the 4K camera. So I apologize for the fluffs. But yeah, look at that. We have a cute little mini dragon made with Premier Basics chenille yarn and beautiful eyes from Nerdy Girl Crochets. I promise I buy eyes from other makers. I just have a ton of Brit's eyes. We're really close friends, so she also will send me some. And so I just have a big stockpile of eyes, and I also like to have endless number of eyes on hand, just because you never know what size, cut, color, what you're gonna need. So I'd rather just have a whole stockpile. So I promise I will be showing off some eyes from other creators in future videos. So yeah, this pattern, this cute dragon pattern, is made by Therapy on My Hook, and she can be found on Instagram. I will link her tag down below, so if you want to go check her out on Instagram, you can. This pattern, I'm testing it right now. I'm sure it'll be out by the time this video comes out, so I will also link that down below in case you want to go and buy this pattern. It's super cute, super quick, and now I feel like I need to make the Toothless mod. So since it didn't take very long, should we? Let's do it. So let's find some yarn. let's see, do we want to use Zaddy Crafts or what? I can't decide. Yeah, I guess we'll do Zaddy Crafts so we can see the different size between the basic chenille and Zaddy Crafts. Let me get a bigger skein. There we go. Again, I'm not sponsored by them. I just really love their yarn. You can get their yarn from zaddycrafts.com. They are shipping to the United States again. I know in my previous video I said that that was still up in the air. Just note that you may have to pay tariffs. I didn't have to when I bought my most recent one. So I'm sure US Customs is still trying to figure out how to charge tariffs if that's what's going on. So just be aware though, if you do buy it, you may be subject to tariff charges, and you can only order 60 skeins right now at a time, which should be more than enough, but that's just their limit for the United States right now. But again, it's worth it. Shipping costs are expensive, but it is so worth it. This is the softest yarn I've ever used, and it doesn't shed like other chenille yarns. Easy to sew with. You can frog it and continue, and it works perfectly. It doesn't fall apart. So that's my little Zaddy Crafts plug for the video. Sponsor me. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so let's go ahead and do that. I wonder if I don't think I have any more Fury Eyes that are small enough. So we're going to have to play around with that, but I have an idea of how to do that. Let's get back. So just like the first time, we're going to need to make the legs and the wings first. And so with Zaddy Crafts, I use a 5mm. This is the new Aura. I feel like an idiot. Pearls hook. Go check it out. I think it's a limited edition, so if you want it, make sure to go get it ASAP, because I don't know if they'll be restocking them. So do y'all have a guilty pleasure like TV show or type of TV show that y'all watch? I don't know about y'all, but I really love a good trashy reality TV show. Right now I've been watching Love Island, the USA version, and then also the UK version. I will say the USA one has been hit or miss this season, but it's just so entertaining. I don't know why. I just find watching that kind of stuff and then watching people make fools of themselves on TV, it's just funny to me. I also think it's fun trying to see them find love. If that does happen, it's kind of a raunchy show. So if you're younger, please disregard everything I just said. But then I've also recently watched The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and I don't really know much about Mormon culture, so I definitely learned a lot. And I ended up watching some YouTube videos of people who were ex-Mormons talking about the show, and so it's kind of interesting to listen to them. I don't have a lot of drama in my life, which I like to keep it that way, don't get me wrong. So I like to get my drama from these reality shows of just, I don't know, I just find it so entertaining. So I'm just curious, do any of y'all out there watch those kind of shows? And if so, like, which ones are your favorite? I'm definitely excited for the next season of Mormon Wives. And I'm not really into like the Housewives. I watched the Beverly Hills one for a while because I really love Lisa Vanderpump, but I couldn't really, once she left that show, I couldn't really get into everyone else that's on that show. And I've tried to watch some of the other the Housewives, Real Housewives of all the other places, and I couldn't really get into it. That's I think I can't explain it. They're not as entertaining to me. I'm sure they are entertaining. It's just like not the cup of tea that I usually am going for when trying to find reality shows. I also really like Love is Blind and Temptation Island and all those crazy shows that you can find on like Netflix and Hulu and whatnot. So yeah, I'm curious, what are some of your guilty pleasures when it comes to TV shows? Now back to crocheting. Oh, and I also recently watched the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. That show, I used to watch the Making the Team show that was on like Bravo or CMT. I'm not really sure what channel it was on back in the day, and I liked the way they did that show before, because I really like watching like the tryout process and like from the very early stages and then into training camp and whatnot. So the one on Netflix now, it's a little bit more focused on the actual team, and they go through like the training camp, and then they are making the team from those girls who make it to training camp, but they don't show any of the earlier process of the tryouts and stuff like that. I wish they did, but I know maybe that's not as entertaining to other people, but I find that really entertaining. But I do think they do a really good job of showing how hard it is to be one of these competitive cheerleaders, and if that's what it's called, or dancers. They're very impressive, and I'm so glad to hear that they got a pay bump after everything that they've done and fighting for a higher pay, because a lot of them have careers outside of being a cheerleader, a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. And I think that's ridiculous, because the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders basically went viral last year, and especially with their Thunderstruck dance, that you would think that the Dallas Cowboys make plenty of money. The least they can do is offer their cheerleaders a little bit more money, you know? And they're also going to all these appearances. Like, I'm seeing them on like Jimmy Fallon and the Today Show and all of those, that you think, you know, they would get, you know, some kind of pay for all of that. So I'm glad to hear that they are raising that. I still don't know. I haven't done like the research. I don't know if that's a livable wage, because of how Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders is kind of, I guess, seasonal, because of, I don't know if they do a lot on the off season, but yeah, I've really enjoyed watching that. I think they're so talented. I tried dance when I was a kid and I was okay, I guess. I did jazz, ballet, and I attempted hip hop for 1 year. Not good. I've then realized I don't have a great staying to the beat. I will not show you my dance skills, because there are no skills when it comes to dance for me. But anyways, yeah, I've enjoyed watching that show as well. I do like to watch a lot of TV. I'm kind of boring that way. But I also work from home, so a lot of the times once I'm done working, I'll turn on the TV and crochet, or if I don't have very many meetings and I just want something in the background, I do turn on the TV and work on my computer while TV's going. So that's how I kind of get through a lot of TV. But anyways, yeah, I love to hear about new shows. So if you've had any good new shows or movies that you've watched on any of the streaming services, put it down in the comments. Let me know. I love finding out new things. Okay, now back to crocheting. Cut that out, please. So for the Toothless mod, her wings, she did them kind of different, and I kind of like how these are with the little bumps here, I guess, compared to it being like that. I think it's kind of fun, and it makes it a little bit more Toothless-like. Okay, so we have the head going. Let's do the eyes, and like I said before, I don't have any more of like the small green eyes, so I'm going to improvise a little bit. So I ended up using 12mm black eyes, just like the plastic ones you can get off Amazon. Nothing super special. Let's click those in, and then what we're going to do is we're going to embroider some green outside of it, and that should give it his Toothless look. So I have this green. I think it looks fairly close to his eye color. It's it feels like Posh, Big Twist Posh, if you've used that one. It's but this is actually Kayla's Crafts Naughty Ball yarn. Yeah, I don't use it a ton, but I do have a couple skeins that I haven't really used much of. So we're going to use a little bit of this and see if we can make this work. If not, I might have to go back to the drawing board. Or I may have to get maybe acrylic yarn if this is too thick. It might be. Let's see. So it's definitely not as fun as the big, big eyes, the kawaii eyes from like Brit or the other folks. But I mean, it still gives the toothless green eyes. And once it's all together, it'll be noticeable enough that it's him. But it's not ideal. But sometimes you just got to work with what you got. And that's what we're doing today. And then we stuff the head, and it's definitely coming together. Again, the eyes aren't ideal, but I think you can still tell it's toothless, right? Be honest. Or don't be. Tell me it looks great. Just kidding, just kidding. I will say it is already looking pretty cute. I think this pattern is adorable. All right, we're done with the body, so now we have to go into the tail, but just wanted to stop and show you how it's going. Yep, he's definitely a lot smaller than obviously the one with the blanket yarn, but I'll show a side by side once I'm done. Okay, so we have the body done. So now we need to, just like the other one, add all the details, like the horns. I'll probably add the two up here that she had, and then maybe another one underneath, so it kind of looks a little bit more like Toothless. So let's do that. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. My camera decided to die. Well, I mean, it's my fault. Okay, it's my fault. I forgot to charge it before I started this vlog, and then I thought I was only gonna record this guy, and then I ended up making this guy. So, long story short, I didn't charge it for long enough before we did it. But I ended up finishing up the Toothless while my camera charged for a couple minutes, so then I can finish this video. So yeah, here he is. He's all done. Excuse the mess. I don't have a lint brush up here, but here he is in all its glory, nice and small, and it was really quick to make. So here's the difference between the blanket yarn and the Zaddy Crafts yarn. So I get a lot of questions of, well, how do you make like jumbo plushies versus small plushies? Well, it all depends on the yarn and the hook that you use. You can take the same pattern and use a different yarn with a different hook, and it will change the size. Or even if you were to, if I did this with a 6mm, if I made this same exact one with an 8mm hook with this same yarn, it will be bigger. So it all depends on your tension, your yarn used, and your hook used. So that's why they are different sizes, and how you can change the size of patterns when you're working on them. I want to leave this video with exactly how I started it, just reminding everyone to be kind, and especially on Instagram, where we don't know each other all very personally. There are humans behind the screens, so just remember that and spread kindness. With so much hate in this world, let's just remember to be kind to one another. Thanks for joining in on this vlog. I will be having a lot more in the future, so make sure to subscribe, like, and comment, because that helps me more than you know. I appreciate y'all so much, and peace out.